Oh, someone joined. Yes.
Yay.
Dun, dun,
It's
dun.
Rita.
Hey Nicole, how are you? And
Good. How are you? Are you at work?
I am at work. I am still technically working, but I thought I would pop on because I have questions I need to ask and I need to figure things out.
Oh, great. Welcome. What are your life questions or LSAT questions?
Okay, first off, I've been trying to figure out kind of a timeline of applying and stuff because we were talking about taking it in June and I want to take it in June because I saw a post that they were saying that June I think was the last day, last test where they were doing the 3 sections where it was more similar to the flex.
Oh, versus 4 sections?
Yeah, so I definitely want to take advantage of that going on. So I was just trying to figure out a timeline of just applications and figuring out writing my essay. And then also I realized again, the writing section of the LSAT, I keep forgetting that's a thing. And then I keep thinking about it at night and I panic about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you have you can keep asking questions, but first on the writing section, don't even let it bother you. Most law schools don't even read it.
Okay.
I'll send you a video. I tell some people tell their students to take it right before their LSAT. I'm actually okay with students taking it the next day or 2 days after, as long as you take it within 3 days after your test. I prefer to take it afterwards, but I can see why. But some people tell me to say they prefer to take it beforehand because they got to practice the platform beforehand, and I actually think that's a really good idea.
Okay. And what exactly is that writing section?
Jasmine, do you want to answer that?
So the writing section is basically they give you a scenario. Someone is faced with a really hard choice and okay, you can do this. Here's the implications of this choice. And then here's option B. Here's the implications of that choice. And what they ask you to do is basically give a recommendation. What do you do and why? And you actually have to make a decision. You can't be indecisive and be like, oh, this is good for this reason and this is good for this reason. You actually have to come down and say, I formally recommend option A or option B as is. And here's why.
Yeah, and it's really easy. So one time there's an example out there where it is it's there's a video that I'll send where it's we want to go on a family vacation and these are the things that our family likes. Should we go camping? Because I think they said their family's from the city, they want a new experience, so we could go camping that's right up the road, or we could go on an international trip but it's more expensive. And then they give you the pros and cons of each of those situations, and then which is exactly what Jasmine just said. But there's this video that I can send you that it's really simple where it says I just memorized the structure and I was like, okay, so when you introduce it, clearly state what side you're on and why. You should give supporting facts for that and why that's better. And then you can even offer a concession, which we talk about, a concession for why I see why this might not be ideal because of this. However, I think it overcomes it because of this or something like that. And then you can even grant the other side something granted, the positives of this other side is this, but I think we should do this. And then you want to have a conclusion. It literally can be 4 or 5 short paragraphs and you want to be concise. So what I did was when I was doing mine is I wrote 2 or 3 sentences per paragraph quickly. And then I went back and filled it out. So if I ran out of time, I at least had the structure done.
Okay.
Do you have any additional thoughts on that, Jasmine?
I mean, what's nice is that you can pull information from common sense everyday life. You're not supposed to invent facts necessarily oh, well, I know that the moon is exactly 50 kilometers. No, but if it's something oh, well, most people would agree that enjoying nature is definitely better than sitting inside a stuffy resort if the resort is this and this. You can definitely create your own bridge frameworks too to support your argument, but you just want to basically say, why is my option so much better in every single way than the other option? Okay, your pros and cons, definitely acknowledge the pros of option A. Maybe the pros of option B are compelling, but they're definitely not as good as the pros of option A. And here's why the cons of option A are not as bad as the cons of option B. You kind of want to just fill out if there's any place for them to have a flaw, try to nip it in the bud. Within the time limit. But I think, that going back to your question of when do I take it, whatever makes more sense. If you're somebody who's going to be thinking about it beforehand, I'm stressed about it, and maybe consider taking it before. I think it opens 8 days before your actual test or test registration, something like that. I don't know. But like you can take it like the whole week afterward and be totally fine. So if you're somebody who's like, I don't want to think about this, it's not graded, then maybe do it afterward and like give yourself some rest. But no wrong answer. You'll still get your score in a reasonable amount of time as long as it's within like a good time frame.
Okay, that's kind of giving me like from the structure, it's giving me like AP US history, like
Absolutely.
Q vibe.
Yes. We love those FRQs.
Yep.